Welcome back, my lovelies. Today we will be discussing more science. This time it'll be within the realm of physics, because there's more to life than obsessing over people's genitals. What did Einstein mean when he equated energy with matter? And what exactly was the meaning of E equals mc squared? First, let's break down the variables. Here, m represents the mass of an object at relative rest. Next, c represents the maximum velocity that light can attain in a vacuum. This maximum speed is calculated via this equation. This says that the maximum speed that light can attain is the inverse square root of the vacuum permittivity constant and the vacuum permeability constant. Said another way, mu naught represents the maximum resistance that a magnetic field would face in a classical vacuum, while epsilon naught represents the resistance that an electrical field would face. These constants represent fundamental properties of vacated space. They represent exactly how an electromagnetic wave is able to propagate given ideal conditions. Finally, we have E, which represents the total energy of the system. For objects at rest, this represents the rest energy. However, the energy for objects in motion will begin to increase above this baseline. The foundation for this equation was published in a 1905 paper by Albert Einstein titled, "Does the Inertia of a Body Depend on its Energy Content?" In it, he attempted to resolve a paradox observed by Henri Poincaré in special relativity. This paradox described a system in which a massless particle caused a recoil in an apparatus. However, since physicists thought of energy and matter as distinctly different things at the time, this did not make any sense. It violated Newtonian mechanics. Further, Madame Curie's experiments with radium showed an apparent violation in the conservation of energy that could not be explained. The sample was highly radioactive and it decreased in mass. How could this be if they were different? These problems could only be explained if matter and energy were just different forms of the same thing. Einstein's reconciliation arrived as a general principle, merely a consequence that spacetime exhibits forms of symmetry. Symmetries are merely physical or mathematical features of a system that remain unchanged in transformations. This is similar to how the temperature in a room is independent of the observer's position, although sometimes it doesn't feel like that. And of course, I'm sure there are some people out there that are asking, yeah, but how do we know that's true? We should also know that every nuclei has a binding energy. This is defined as the energy required to blast it apart. Every time a chemical or nuclear reaction occurs, there's a conversion of this binding energy into either electromagnetic radiation or heat through particle collisions. However, for nuclear reactions, the mass change is about 0.1%. Even such a slight change in mass can result in massive amounts of energy. For example, the single fusion of deuterium and tritium could power 700 homes for 1 year, with the average consumption of a person living in the US. I hope you enjoyed this quick chat about Einstein's energy-matter equivalence, or E equals mc squared. I'll be back next time with more topics just for you. Thanks for watching, Witchlings. Until next time, stay safe and know that you are incredible. Bye! Only you decide your identity, however you feel is valid. Only you decide what makes you comfortable with who you are and where you are. It should go without saying, but the only violation